The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
What I get to do and what my team gets to do is help these animals.
It's kind of like a MASH hospital out here sometimes.
That's a whole different ballgame. I'm Wes Livingston, gunner, mugger. That's my day job.
My name is Earl Waters. I'm a helicopter pilot.
In the world of helicopter flying, it's probably considered one of the most dangerous.
I'm Dr. Ole Alcumbrac, and I'm a wildlife veterinarian. We are here to conserve them, and they are a national treasure.
At the end of the day, I know that what I did ensures the future of these animals.
We're here in the Sonoran Desert at the Cabeza Prieta National Wildlife Refuge. And the reason why we're here today is our annual Sonoran pronghorn capture and translocation to help supplement populations in the wild.
Those animals were built to run. That's it.
Pronghorn are the Lamborghini of all our species. They were put on this planet for one reason, and that was to feed the North American cheetah.
Capture is sheer terror all day long.
You're dealing with wild animals, and it's dangerous.
There are approximately 400 Sonoran pronghorn remaining in the United States. In southwest Arizona, a captive breeding program works to repopulate this endangered subspecies. Here, 21 Sonoran pronghorn were baited into corral traps in preparation to be relocated into the wild.
Are we running short on anything?
You guys ready to go down?
All right, he's ready. So the animals are literally in those corral traps known as bomas right next to us. So we're setting up and we're keeping our voices down because they're already stressed. They know that we're here. They know what's going on. And as a matter of just animal welfare, we try to keep the stress level down as much as possible.
So you want to get right under the armpits like this, and then, excuse me, but at the zoo...
Every one of those members, that capture team, has everybody else's life in their hands. So you have to trust them and never let your guard down.
My name is Deborah Young, and today I am the lead mugger, which means a lead animal grabber. So we go in, we grab the animals, take them out, help the vets process them, and then we got to figure out where they're going.
The muggers, as we call them, are not really muggers. It sounds like they're trying to be really physical, but we found that the more gently we handle these animals, the better they do. What we're doing now is we're setting up oxygen at each station. We got IV lines ready to go should any of these animals get in a crisis. These are chilled IV lines. The biggest problem we deal with working in the desert on an ice age species like pronghorn is overheating.
There's so many things that can go wrong, and you just have to learn to adapt to them and overcome and figure it out.
If you're on the net crew and you're going through that door, expect the unexpected.
With volunteers from the Arizona Game and Fish Department, the Armed Forces, and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service coming together, Ole and his team will work to bring this endangered subspecies back from the brink of extinction.
The Sonoran pronghorn was first listed as an endangered species in 1967, and the United States enjoyed a population of approximately 120 animals. In 2002, there's a horrific drought, and that population dropped to less than 20 animals. Without human intervention, the United States would have lost this particular species altogether. Right now, the standard dose will be 5 milligrams of midazolam. So we created a captive breeding program where we built a mile-square fenced, predator-proof environment. They're referred to as bomas. It's an Afrikaans word that means enclosure. And there's a multitude of different ways to capture wildlife. And corral trapping is one technique. The difference being is that we handle multiple animals in a single event, whereas helicopter captures were typically handling single animals in multiple events. These guys are called the whisperers. And what they're doing is they're sorting the pronghorn from the back boma to the middle boma, a few, and then they're going to take that few and sort them into the front boma. So we try to go from a lot of animals to a few animals to 1 to 3 animals at a time so we can actually do it safely. I mean, these guys only weigh like 80 pounds, but they can immediately turn up to 60 miles an hour when they want to, and being hit by a 60 mile an hour, 80-pound thing hurts a lot.
just waiting on you guys.
Oh, I think we're ready.
We're ready to... What our muggers are going to do is go in as a fluid serpentine team. They're going to go in there, they're going to get the pronghorn moving in ultimately the same direction and use the cargo net not as anything more than a thing they run into where they can now grab them and handle these animals properly and safely.
The Sonoran pronghorn is not very forgiving. If you make a mistake, you can actually injure it or kill it.
You're dealing with wild animals, big wild animals and powerful wild animals, and it's dangerous.
They're gonna get kicked in the face and banged around and
Kicked, shredded. I've been elbowed by a human before. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do.
All right, let's go.
Ready to go?
We're ready to go.
3, 2, 1.
Back.
Dr. Ole Alcumbrac and his team are on a mission to translocate 21 captive Sonoran pronghorn. And as the corral gates open, the game is on.
Ready to go?
We're ready to go.
3, 2, 1.
A group of dedicated, skilled, and oftentimes beat-to-death muggers capture these animals 2, 3 at a time, typically.
it's a constant adrenaline. They are butterflies.
They're fast, and believe me, these muggers get hurt. Pronghorn are quite noisy. That's just their alarm call that you hear.
Pronghorn get stressed easily, they go into shock easily, and they can break themselves easily.
They let us know that they don't like what is happening to them.
This looks rough. It is tough, but it's necessary. We are recovering this species. We are conserving these animals for future generations where we almost lost them after the 2002 drought. So the goal is to get in there and get them processed as quickly as possible. Fawn, buck.
They get sedated right away while we're holding them.
You need to get a hold of that animal and secure the animal and then slow down a little bit because those animals can pick up what you're feeling and it affects them.
We designed these special stretchers to put them in. It's gonna keep running, that's all it knows. So the legs not touching the ground is very, very important.
Stretcher up. And then while they're getting sleepy, we take them to the processing area where all the vets are. They're gonna get a full workup, blood drawn, same vaccines and vitamins that everyone else is getting.
Watch his legs. Okay, let's get a temp. We can get some vaccines. This buck in particular is just going to the other pen as a breeding buck. He is getting vaccinated and his blood drawn to check him for disease and health. And he just gets a whole new set of girlfriends is what he gets. All right, we have the truck ready to roll with him. We're good. We're gonna load him up on this rack. We're gonna take him down to the north pen and we're gonna let him go. We keep the genetics diverse that way. He's had a chance to breed all the does in this herd. So we move him up here to become the new paternal familias. You can see how fine-boned these Sonoran pronghorn are as opposed to North Americans. Sonoran pronghorn are a slightly scaled down model of the North American pronghorn. I mean, they've been in this desert for centuries and had to adapt. Okay, stretch her down.
Take a step back.
And go that way. Welcome to your new home. All right, let's go.
So far, 6 of the 21 pronghorn have been successfully corralled, processed, and prepped for release into the wild.
There's no norm, it's a constant change, and you just roll with it all day long.
So you're constantly adapting and overcoming all these variables that happen.
All vaccines, all IM injections, and she will be ultrasounded.
Something cool about pronghorn hair, their hair is actually hollow, so it comes out real easily.
And you're thinking, what did I do to this thing? When a predator gets a hold of them, they lose that hair and you end up with a big mouthful of hair.
And they just keep running, so.
Believe me, at the end of the day, everyone's gonna have pronghorn hair all over them. Okay, we're done. Hold on. Uh-oh.
Here they come.
We were informed that there was an animal with an injury. We called for veterinarian Ole.
What happened, Tim?
All right. You ready, Tim? Go, 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 go.
In southwest Arizona, researchers and volunteers work together to corral captive Sonoran pronghorn in preparation for the release into the wild. So far, 12 of 21 pronghorn have been successfully processed. But after a doe seriously injured herself inside the boma, all attention has shifted to the care for this animal.
The reason why these walls are 15 feet tall, because pronghorn can jump 14 feet.
No, 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 stop the jumping.
You don't want them jumping because they're very light boned. They will hurt themselves.
No, 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 no.
All right. Go, 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 go.
This animal ran into a metal post and received a spinal cord injury. Right now, she's neurologically intact, but compromised.
Pretty good bruise right in there.
So the drugs we have given her so far are sedatives and tranquilizers, just to calm her down, and anti-inflammatory that literally sucks the inflammation out of the spinal cord. That'll make you feel better, darling. So what we want to do is create a little cage and a headrest for her. So we're going to prop her between two hay bales, keep her sternal so she can't flop over on her sides, and this will be a chin rest. So that's going to come in front. So we have basically a hospital bed for a pronghorn now. She'll be fine, yeah. Bring her butt in first. Move down.
Can't really see what I'm doing.
You put a super fast animal in a super small space and they're moving as a unit, you know, collisions occur. We're gonna give her every chance. We have a full hospital out here in the back of that truck. You know, this is still a very necessary thing we're doing for the species, for the resource. Just rest. Nerves are pretty unforgiving. Once they get damaged for good, they're done for good. But if they're just injured, if we can get the inflammation out of the nerve, there is a good chance that they can survive this. We have one more hay bale. Maybe put one over the top of her, because she wants to do this. She's got a wry neck, so what if we just lay one on top of her? Let's put that right over the top of her back. Okay. Wildlife capture, there's always a risk of injury, morbidity, mortality even. But when we're trying to recover an endangered species, every individual counts. So we're going to try really hard with her.
Close shot, close.
This is a traumatic event, not just for the pronghorn, but for the buggers. I mean, we've had broken noses, we've had lacerations, and I've been gored by pronghorn, and I still remember he had his eye looking at me. And he made the decision at that point, if I can't get away, I'm gonna stick you. And believe me, they know exactly where the tips of all their horns are. Penetrated my lip, went into my bone, above my tooth. I mean, he put the hurt on me, and if you think about it, 2 inches up or 2 inches down, I could have really been damaged. It's controlled chaos inside that boma at the capture moment. A pronghorn is never going to give up. It's never going to quit fighting until it's finally let go. So the goal here is to get them processed quickly and get them released.
We don't know why, but this animal's got crazy sideways horns, so we call them ticks.
So far, 17 of the 21 endangered Sonoran pronghorn have been captured and processed in preparation for release into the Arizona desert.
It's a strange dichotomy that we're working on an Ice Age animal that evolved in the Neoplasticine era here in the desert to this day.
They stick together like a flock of birds. They look like a flock of birds. They're very amazing to watch them travel. I suppose that's part of their survival instinct, is being in the big flock is harder than picking a single off.
Many people refer to them as antelope, but they're really not antelope. They're pronghorn. They're their own species into themselves. Pronghorn are strictly North American. They can go 60 miles an hour and they can sustain a solid run for 20 miles or more.
They can literally run next to your car on the 202 and just be like, hey, what's going on? You know, and they're not even like struggling. They're just running for miles like that.
All right, he's ready. We don't know why, but this animal's got crazy sideways horns, so we call them ticks.
Go quick.
Who's got ticks? Coming in on an IV.
It's not over his eye very well.
Yeah. Don't grab them. They're really, really loose.
I have control at the base, which is the most important, but you can see there's cracking all along his true horn coming up the sheath, which is not normal.
Yeah, they're splitting.
It looks like they just are really soft, and I don't know if that's a mineral issue or not. We'll check them out here in a second. Okay. Good. Hind legs. So Tex is a buck that's going to be released to the wild. He has some abnormal horn growth. Pronghorn don't have deciduous horns like deer. It's basically modified hair, like a rhino's horn. So it could be significant in terms of his general health or maybe a vitamin mineral deficiency. So the jury's going to still be out until we know. We're giving him some vitamins, dewormer, get him a head start in life. I guess in his new life anyway. And we're giving him some medication to help keep his temperature down and pain medication as well. What's the temperature?
103.8.
Okay, well, that 104 is our number where we get concerned. I'm done with him. Does anyone else have anything else we need to do? Okay.